I'm Donna Kallner. Welcome to CrossKnit Looping, the eCourse. This video is part of Lesson 1 of the CrossKnit Looping eCourse. Later in the class, you'll see some different types of threads to use in CrossKnit Looping and learn other ways to add on when a thread runs out. But for most of this class, we're going to work with wool yarns. Wool makes it easy to add on when your yarn runs out because you can felt the tag end of an old thread to the tail end of a new thread. It's called spit splicing. If you're worried about having spit on your project, just plan to rinse and block the piece later. Let me show you how it's done, and then I have a little something extra for you. First, remember in the orientation video where I told you to break your yarn rather than cutting it? A clean cut edge ends with all its bulk at the same spot. That's not ideal for spit splicing. Breaking gives you an end that's already a little frayed, and that's much better. Even a broken yarn probably needs a little help though. So take your tapestry needle and unply and fray out an inch or two of the tag end of the old yarn. Do the same with the tail of the new yarn too. I'm using two different colors to make it easier for you to see. Now apply a bit of saliva to one palm. Actually, I don't spit, I just lick my palm. Lay the frayed tails on your wet palm, one on top of the other so they overlap to create one long continuous thread. Now wet the other palm and rub your palms together briskly. You're going for a combination of moisture, heat, and agitation to felt the ends together. Usually after rubbing a few strokes to get things started, I'll switch one hand from the palm to the heel or the edge to get some more pressure. Add more moisture as needed, and keep rubbing until the ends felt together in a nice, neat little splice. Then you're ready to resume stitching as if the thread had never run out. You may have to ease the splice through for a few stitches, so I generally stitch with the old thread until I have just barely enough yarn left to make the splice. That way I'm not easing the splice through a bunch of times before I reach the joint. It's easier to make this splice if you practice first. So break off a couple pieces of yarn and try to splice them together without having the weight of a project attached to one end. Give that a try. I'll wait. Now that you're ready to add on when your yarn runs out, here's that little something extra I promised you. Looping creates an incredibly stable structure that won't unravel. It's ideal handwork for travel, commutes, waiting rooms, and coffee breaks. Because you draw the entire length of the thread through on each stitch, looping is worked with relatively short lengths of yarn. So you really don't need to have a whole skein of yarn with you all the time. A little center pull ball is often just enough to tuck into your pocket. Here's how to wind one using a pencil. Make a slip knot in the end of the yarn and pull that knot tight around the sharpened end of the pencil, leaving a short tail. Hold the tail with the sharpened end up. Wind the thread in a figure-8 pattern that goes down in front, behind the pencil, up in front, behind the pencil, and back down in a continuous figure 8 pattern. It's a figure 8 pattern that goes down in front, behind the pencil, up in front, behind the pencil, and back. Rotate the pencil a little bit as you go to distribute the yarn evenly. When the ball is the size you want, break off the yarn and wrap that in several times around the center of the ball. I'll make a half hitch or two to secure the end. Pull the slip knot out of the end of the yarn at the center of the ball. Pull the ball off the pencil. And now you have a tidy little center pull ball to tuck into your pocket, and you're ready to go. With so many ideas for projects, it's nice to know how simple it is to keep a little looping in your pocket or bag for found moments. Just one more thing before this lesson continues with a couple of project ideas and one more technique element. Stitching in public is a great way to show the people around you that a healthy, creative outlet doesn't have to take a lot of materials or huge chunks of time. Your stitches don't have to be perfect, and your projects don't have to be elaborate for you to make something really special. Connections with the people you meet. And you never know when your example can inspire someone else to get out some knitting or crochet or embroidery or even looping, even mending, or sketch or doodle or take pictures, whatever it is that puts a smile on their face. Have fun, and I'll see you in the next video.